Hello and welcome. This is another week, and of course, this is Business Incorporated coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago. Thank you for joining us. Coming up on the show, Qatar National Bank to sell small stake in Egypt's unit to comply with listing rules. Anglo-American Platinum declares its first dividend in 7 years. Plus, Glencore and Round Gold form group to challenge Congo mining law. Let's get the show started with the markets here in Africa. Both the Nigerian market and the Jersey index was in the red at intraday, down 0.53% apiece. The market in Egypt, however, was in the green, up 0.78%. Kenya came down 0.89% on Friday. And in the Middle East, only Abu Dhabi lagged at intraday as the dividend cut pulled down major Abu Dhabi-listed financial firm Waha Capital. The Abu Dhabi index slipped 0.07% as Waha, which had been trading near 10-month highs, pulled back 4.1%. It proposed a 2017 cash dividend of 15%, down from 20% for 2016. Dubai edged up 0.18%. Amusement park operator DXB Entertainment, which has been in a downtrend for 6 weeks, however, dropped 2%. Saudi Arabia's index was up 0.17% as Saudi Industrial Export, which deals in bulk commodities and chemicals, jumped its 10% daily limit for a 4th day in a row. Qatar's index edged up 0.30% as Marseille Petrochemical, the most heavily traded stock, jumped 5.5%. In Europe, equities were higher in early trade as global sentiment continued to rebound after recent turmoil. There are also quite a number of developments in the region. Let's now bring in Conrad Busen, my colleague in Frankfurt, to give us details. Hello, Conrad. Very nice to see you. Quite an age.
Hi, Timmy. Thanks for having me back on Channels TV.
Right. So, Latvia's central bank chief has been arrested on corruption allegation. And, of course, later today, Eurofinance ministers decided on new ECB vice chief. How will these play out, as the Latvia's central bank chief is also a member of the ECB Council?
Timmy, it's very likely that the topic of the arrest and interrogation of the Latvian chief of the central bank there is a much hotter topic of discussion for the Eurofinance ministers meeting in Brussels today than the succession of the ECB vice president. Of course, it's important to know who will succeed Vitor Constâncio. He's the second in command after Mario Draghi at the ECB. He's leaving his post in the summer, and we have two candidates who are considered to become likely successors. One is Luis de Guindos, the economy minister from Spain, and the other one is the chief of the Irish Central Bank, Philip Lane. But I have to say, the stories from Latvia are much more exciting. They're really crime stories. The arrest and the interrogation of the chief of the central bank there, and the anti-corruption authorities in Latvia are saying that the allegations are that the gentleman Ilmaz Rimšēvić demanded a bribe of no less than 100,000 euros. And you know, this is not the only piece of negative news from the financial sector in this Euro country, Latvia. We have a bank called ABLV, which had to get financial support from the central bank of about 100 million euros. There has been put a payments moratorium on this bank by the ECB, which means that the bank is not allowed to pay its debt. It's basically frozen. All this has to do with allegations that the bank ABLV infringed on the sanctions against North Korea. And we have to take into consideration that this is not the first piece of news about corruption and money laundering in the country. So, of course, all this also raises question whether the supervision in the country is really working effectively, and also whether the major supervisor here in the Eurozone, the European Central Bank, has done a good job.
Well, I guess the bank chief will have no option but to resign. All right, Reliance in India plans huge industrial compound for more than $9 billion US. For Siemens is part of the joint venture. What's in it for Siemens?
Well, this deal or this plan has huge potential for Siemens, given that it's taking place in India, one of the parts of the world expected to be one of the big growth drivers in the future. And also, this deal or this project is not only about Reliance Industries and about Siemens, but other biggies are part of this as well. Hewlett-Packard, for example, Cisco, Corning. So Siemens is really playing a big game here. And in order to be able to finance this, Siemens is planning an IPO. It's planning to sell a minority stake in its health division called Siemens Healthineers. And today newspapers report that this IPO might happen here in Frankfurt as early as Easter. If this is happening, this is going to be the largest IPO here in Frankfurt in 22 years. You know, this is when Deutsche Telekom went public, worth 10 billion euros at the time. And now Siemens Healthineers is expected to be worth an IPO of around about 9 billion euros. Lots of exciting stuff for the market to digest today.
I guess so. Well, we'll keep an eye on some of those developments there. And anyway, in any case, most of the markets are closed today: Hong Kong, China, and the US. Is that having any impact on the European markets today?
A bit of an impact, yes. Volatility is a bit lower, you know, after all those talks about higher interest rates in the United States, all those concerns that had weighed on the markets in recent weeks. Now trading this week has started. But this is not the moment to become complacent, because this week the US government will come out with new treasuries, with new government bonds worth up to 260 billion US dollars. A lot of money that the United States government needs, because it has, you know, introduced tax reform. It will get less income from taxes. Also, the 2-year budget plan that recently was stipulated will cost or will add new money to the deficit. So the US government will come to the market with those new government bonds. The yield is currently at near this 4-year high at around about 2.9%. So, of course, at the moment, people here are wondering what will happen this week and how all this activity on the bond market will impact the government bond yields, the American ones, that is.
But I guess we have quite a lot to chew in the course of the week. The week has just started, so I hope to see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the day.